Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be in the company of Don Charles. Don, we've had some news recently that has shaken things up a little bit. The question is really, is this news that you were expecting? How quickly did this all materialize? The news that Daniel Dubois has now returned to your stable.
Yeah, it's a sudden, just like everybody else. It was a sudden thing, and good things happen quick. Sometimes bad things also happen quick. When I got sacked, it happened quick. When I got reinstated, it happened quick.
Can you talk us through that decision, that phone call? What was the process like?
This time as anything else, I'm not going to go into too much details because a lot of things should remain private. I'll disclose what I feel I can disclose. But like I said, it's like any job whether it so happens we're in the boxing business. If this was like an office job, it's the same. I got reinstated to my position, and I'm delighted.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and Don, obviously won't want to step over too many boundaries, but definitely there are questions that people want to know, especially in the wake of how the relationship ended, and you publicly kind of talking about that. One of the things you kind of mentioned was the feeling of, on your part, feeling that you'd been betrayed by that decision. Is that a feeling that you and the team have worked through to come to this conclusion?
Well, most definitely, we all make decisions in life. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Look, we're all growing up here, and it became apparent to them, to Daniel and his father, that um, the the situation we had was the right situation. The environment, there's the environment, then there's the training. So it was a good fit, and I believed it was a good fit. So that's why I felt the way I felt when it came to an end, a sudden end. Okay, we lost the fight. Yeah, that happens in all walks of life, in sports in general. Football manager. Sometimes the teams well up there in the league and they still get the sack. Sometimes you win a cup and you still get the sack. So is the nature of the beast.
It's not often though that the return happens immediately without a fight being in between there.
Mm.
What can you say about that specifically? Tony has come out on, as I think it was Pro Boxing Fans. He gave a statement. He felt that maybe that him and Daniel didn't quite gel, and that's probably the reason as to why that was. Had you heard that being the reason from Daniel and Stan, that was why they were coming back?
No, we wouldn't discuss Tony. Happens to be a friend of mine also. Like I think he's come out today, I believe, earlier on. I heard someone sent me what his opinion of why Daniel has come back to myself, and I will be giving Tony a call actually to catch up. That's how he feels that maybe it wasn't a good fit, and people don't understand that because there is such things. It's all over the country. If you speak to every trainer, that everything has to fit. Some trainers are good for fighters, some fighters are good for trainers, and Tony's a perfectly good coach in look at his stable, look what he's achieved over a period of time. In fact, I think we're very similar. We started our coaching career more as the same type of period, myself and Tony Sims. And yeah, um, like I said, his opinion earlier was maybe they weren't a good fit. I certainly believe I'm a good fit for Daniel because I've got to learn about him as a person and then as a fighter. And yes, we lost a fight to a generational great in the name of Alexander Usyk, who coincidentally have beat everybody that they've put in front of him. So I think you could be forgiven for losing to such a fighter. And yeah, and look, I don't want to make this long-winded. It is what it is, and we just want to get back to work. We had a meeting earlier on today. We had a little shake off the cobwebs type of session today, but it was more about having a meeting and getting an understanding and an agreement how to move forward collectively. All the personnels who are working for Daniel Dubois, Team Dubois, whether you're a manager, commercial manager, the father, myself, the fighter, we're all going to work collectively with one objective, is to help and aid Daniel Dubois in every capacity to get back into winning ways, first and foremost, and myself personally to complete the mission that I believe that we were on. Sometimes, there's turbulence. Yeah, if you catch a flight from here to wherever, it's highly unlikely you're not going to experience some turbulence. So let's call what we experienced by the separation, let's call it turbulence. And we've steadied the ship or the plane, and we're going to fly, God willing, to our destination.
Is the relationship between yourself and Sam Jones still turbulent? Is he still in the picture? Have you had a conversation with Sam?
I've had a really good in-depth conversation with Sam yesterday. And Sam's driven, I'm driven. We're both very ambitious people. There's a lot of misunderstanding, if I may add to that, between myself and Sam. We've spoken as men, and we've ironed out everything there is to iron out. And again, like I said, the objective is to facilitate and aid Daniel in every capacity, whether it's through managerial duties, training duties, and also Riz Khan. We've all spoken. And like I said, sometimes, unfortunately, this is mankind. You go to war, blood is shed, then you make peace afterwards. So the thing is, why war in the first place? This is just human beings in general, men in particular, mankind. So, we've had this little split, myself and Daniel. So they've gone away and they've come back. I don't want to make it into exaggerated situation. We're just going to march forward. If this were a church, we're going to sing from the same hymn book, singing the same song. And the objective is to aid Daniel in every capacity to go back into winning ways and to become a two-time world champion.
And was this a decision led by Daniel, or was this Stan who made the operative decision?
Collectively. Collectively. I repeat, I'm not a hypocrite. I've done many interviews prior to, I didn't know this was going to happen. 72 hours ago, I didn't know this was going to happen. Was it only last week or 10 days ago? I was in the TalkSport studios giving an interview. I have no inclination this was going to happen. So it was a collective meet. Everybody, we're all men. We're all men. So we discussed everything, and we've decided collectively and in an agreement, as long as we've all got the same objective, that was the main thing we achieved, is to go forward together to help Daniel to achieve becoming a two-time world champion.
One person who won't, or seemingly won't be part of that, is Kieran Farrell. I don't know if you saw his statement. He felt that he obviously left before you got the call initially, first of all, that your services were no longer required. But he's put out a statement saying that he's wanted to walk out a number of times, and he didn't enjoy working in the camp, and he wasn't a yes man. Is that a relationship you want to reintroduce if those feelings can be healed?
Kieran is his own man, I love Kieran, what he brought to the team when he was involved. It's not, I've said it in previous interviews, the kids, very, very, I call him kids, I'm old. He's a man, a family man with kids. Kieran, like I said, very driven, very ambitious, and he's a worker, and I like his energy. And look, he's got his own opinions. The only thing I question, if you can clarify, when he says, I don't like being a yes man, that may suggest that I am a yes man. I can assure you, I am not. I'm just a very sensible, matured, experienced individual. Yeah, I can deal with most things. Sometimes things are out of your hands. Yeah. And he's made his decision. In fact, he resigned, okay, on his own accord. I was disappointed the fact that he resigned without actually informing me. If I'm the head coach, out of respect, at least tell me, by the way, I'm out, I'm stepping down. He did no such thing. He resigned. Had he spoken to me, I would have probably persuaded him, yo, don't do it. Then if we all got sacked together, then I promise you, the fact that I've been reinstated as the head coach again, I would have reached out and said, Kieran, guess what? How do you feel? Let's go again. It would have been involved in the meeting we had yesterday and today. And I have nothing but love for Kieran. Kieran's like a driven kid, and he will succeed because he's a very good coach. A very, very good coach. The coaching ability is not in question here. It's a question of he resigned. He has every right to resign. He's a big man, big family man. But what I'm saying, I was disappointed that he didn't consult me to say, by the way, I'm about to jump. He jumped prematurely, in my opinion. Then, coincidentally, 48 hours later, I got the sack. And the word sack is frowned upon, but it's a word, isn't it? Right? Mm-hmm. But I've been reinstated. So let's look at the positives. Yeah, I've been reinstated as Daniel Dubois head coach, and let's celebrate that. Let's focus on that.
You mentioned there, a lot of people will think this, so let's clarify it. You mentioned that you're not a yes man. There's a feeling that
far from it.
There's a feeling that people will think that Daniel's returned to Don because Stan can maybe dictate more than others might allow. Can you clarify that case?
How wrong could they be? Okay, let's hypothetically assume that I am a yes man. A yes man to what? A man employs you for a job. Yeah? Mm-hmm. I have an electrician I employ or a plumber. I need this job doing. Can you do it like this? Yeah? Mm-hmm. And the plumber says to me, yes. And the electrician says, yes. Because I'm the one paying for that job, right? Mm. It's my duty as the plumber or the electrician to say, by the way, be aware, this way you want me to do it, there are problems you might encounter. So I will suggest to do it this way. Yeah? I'm not a weak character, trust me. Come and spend a day with me in my gym. I challenge anybody. Yeah? It's easy to say, yes, man, I'm not a yes man, or you're a yes man. Yeah? It's quite easily mistaken, the word yes man. Yeah? Mm-hmm. What type of yes man are you? That is the question. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So I'm being employed to do a job. And I'm an experienced coach. I will carry out the duties to the best of my ability. Daniel's father has an input. I've done numerous interviews where I said, I welcome that. Mm. I welcome that input. Yeah? He knows his son better than I do. Yeah? So he sits in some of the sessions, not in all the sessions. If he's got something to say, and it's down to me to say, that isn't correct. If we do what you're asking to do, there'll be problems. So we discuss things. That's not being a yes man. I'm a very strong personality, and a lot of people can't take my energy. Yeah, it's a positive energy, strong energy. I'm physically strong, mentally strong. So I'm not what people, I hear very often people saying, oh, you got to get rid of the dad. He can't be, having his opinions and stuff. No, it's not like that. It really isn't. Yeah, it really isn't. And without under any creases that might have been in our setup. And like I said, let's focus on the positive. Yeah, you're hearing it straight from me. It's not from somebody else saying it. Let's focus on the positive. There are loads of positives. The positives far outweigh the negatives there may have been or might have been. Let's go forward and watch this space. Talk is cheap. I can say as much as I want to say here. We've spoken, everybody, from Sam Jones to Rick Khan to Dubois Senior, yeah. and anybody who's involved in aiding Daniel on his quest to becoming a two-time world champion. Let's promote that. Let's focus on the positives.
Don, I just have one more direct question before I just ask you about a couple of fights that Daniel might be involved in. Appreciate this one as well, direct on the nose, but a lot of people will be discussing, thinking, is it essentially come down to money as well too? Has there been a conversation surrounding that? I don't expect you to divulge the finer details about it, but was there something in the background regarding that that's also swayed the decision?
In terms of who Daniel will fight next?
No, in terms of working with yourself.
Yeah, what? So I totally misunderstood. Can you run that on me again, please?
How big of a factor was finance involved with the decision to maybe jump from Tony Sims to yourself? Was there any indication as to that being part of the reason?
That I can only speak for myself. I've never had any issues with finance with Daniel Dubois' manager, being his father. I've never had any issues, money issues. He's always paid me on time. In fact, sometimes he asked me to put my invoice in before he's even got paid. Right. So, but I won't expand on that. I would say that's pretty private. When you're talking about money, that's pretty private. His arrangement with Tony Sims to do that, I'm not at liberty to, because I don't know. That doesn't concern me. It wouldn't be right for me to try and discuss that because it doesn't. I can only speak on my own experience regarding finance.
Okay, I respect that. I won't push any further. Talking about the fight talk, there's the expectation that Daniel has a fight to be announced very soon. Very soon. One of the rumored fights is that it's going to be Zhilei Zhang. Is that? Can you say that that is the case? Is Daniel
That is
back in that?
it's publicly documented. That is what's been. Remember, we're literally 24 hours since I was reinstated, so there's a lot of things I've got to talking points, and that's one of them. The next opponent for Daniel Zhang is, I believe, is the front runner. You could say that, yes, but it's not. Nothing's finalized from my understanding. It's a question of we're just gonna get on with it, get our heads down, train, and whoever they bring, then obviously I'm the trainer. I will advise my client, being the fighter, and the managers accordingly to say we should have this fight, take this fight, or not take this fight. That's what I'm paid for, to make those such decisions.
There was a rumor floating around as well too, just to shift off topic from Daniel for a second, that you were potentially in or had an offer to join Jake Paul's camp. Now, I did get that denied. I think it came out from the Sun, and that wasn't the case. But can you, for the horse's mouth, as it were, can you clarify what the situation was there, as to whether any offer came to join Jake Paul's team?
Yes, there was. Yeah, well, there was discussions had.
And you didn't take the offer?
It's not a question I didn't take the offer. There was discussions had. Again, I'm not at liberty to deny or confirm or deny. So no, seriously, there was this discussions had. Like any business, there was discussions had between myself and their management. So it didn't go any further.
Ultimately, yeah, it didn't go any further. Finally, Don, and talking about the positives, I want to end on a positive. I know you won't look to seek the credit here, and that's something you look to be evasive with the credit, but also the fact that Daniel has come to return to yourself. It's not just finance, not just circumstance, not just facilities you may have at the gym, whatever it may be, but also your knowledge and your ability to get what you need to get out of a fighter. Is that one of the driving reasons you think as to why they've returned, why they've maybe realized that was missing?
Well, like I said, we had something special. It had only been 24 months of working together, and what we achieved, like I said, it's well documented. I sent Daniel's father a message. Even if they didn't come back to me, I would always cherish what we had already achieved. Yeah. But I'm very driven, even at my old age. I'm very driven. I'm still aspiring to be the best I can and help Daniel Dubois to achieve what he wants to achieve in boxing. Honestly, I'm obviously delighted. I'm happy. This is what you're in this job, and I know how long it takes to develop a fighter. Remember, he was a ready-made fighter when he came to me. And I always maintained that watch what I'm going to do with this kid. He was the first ready-made fighter that I inherited. And what we did is special. And I'm delighted they've come back. Obviously, I'm going to say they made the right decision to come back to, I would call it home, literally. It's home. And today, when we met each other, it was like him coming back home. Yeah, that's the message I was getting, body language, speech. He's happy to be home. There is such a thing. It's not the first, we're not the first outfit that has encountered or experienced it happens most of the times. And let's just, like I said, I want to thank God, because God is great, I didn't expect this. It just came out of the blue. The same way when I inherited Daniel in the first place, it came out of the blue. Over 48 hours it happened. I've got something about 48 hours, right? I inherited him within 48 hours of discussion to work together. I got sacked within 48 hours of speaking when I got the sack. And then within 48 hours of conversation, got reinstated. So I've got something about, unfortunately, there's already been a movie called 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy. So otherwise I would have done another movie. We could do a sequel, 48 Hours.
But there's something more to it, because the first time round it was a recommendation, wasn't it, from Shane McGuigan? The second
Correct.
time round, it might be more of a realization from the work that's been done and laid already.
Correct. You could say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I want to, if I don't, are you signing off now? Yeah.
Feel free.
I just want to say, me, I like, the older I get, the wiser I become. Yeah. To every person, whatever work profession that you're in, sometimes it's going to go bad, down times. Have faith, have belief that it will all be all right at the end of the day. So I feel great. I feel blessed to have gotten my charge, Daniel Dubois, to, again, like I said, to be the one who completes that journey. Because even if you listen to previous interviews, although I wasn't with him, I've always maintained that he will go on, given the opportunity, he'll still go on with or without me to achieve. Yeah. So I've always said that. Go and listen to my previous interviews on different networks. I've always maintained that. And that, obviously, I'll rather it's me and it happens to be back with him. So I'm really delighted and I'm happy.
Yeah, I remember the interview with Raheem. Before you even said returning to yourself, you said maybe go to Shane McGuigan. You thought of
correct. I said maybe you should. Exactly. That's the type of person I am. Maybe they asked me, if not with you, I said maybe he should revisit the Shane McGuigan experience. Yeah.
Don, appreciate your time. Really grateful for your time as well too. Looking forward to seeing Daniel Dubois out under your guidance as well too. Once again, thank you so much, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah. God bless you.